Hello.
Hello.
Hello, Will. Can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. Can you hear me?
Yeah, it's fine. Just
Awesome.
my computer was playing up yesterday, so I was just double checking first.
Gotcha. I'm in heaven.
Why? What are you eating?
Hot chocolate.
Oh, of course you said, yeah.
White hot chocolate with chocolate sprinkles on it. Melting. It's lovely.
Oh, that sounds disgusting.
Yes, okay.
Oh, bless.
So if you can hear me sipping, then you know why.
I could hear you. It seemed like you were chewing on something, but fair enough.
Yeah.
Oh, dear.
Hello guys and welcome back to the Hit or Miss podcast. Today we are on episode 8 and I am back with our special guest Ben, and we're back alongside my co-host Mike Wilson. Hello Mike.
Hey, back after last episode's complete mess of shenanigans,
Yes.
which you'll have probably heard by now.
And if this episode turns out to be worse, I'm so sorry. And how are you today, Ben? You okay?
Yep, I'm so sorry.
Sorry. Couldn't resist. Sorry, Ben. Go ahead. I didn't mean to interrupt.
I can jump straight into
Well, we
my
can,
list of 10.
We normally start with on this day, don't we? Or did you
Sure.
just not pull one together?
I didn't put one together, but I can just get the website up.
Well, I can if you want
Okay.
as well.
I have the list up now, so I'll just go
Okay.
through it.
We can be quick if you need be.
On this day, what is this even going up?
Oh, hang on. I do have that in my notes somewhere.
6, 7, 8. So it'll be December the 6th. This, as you can see,
No, this will be December the 13th because the last episode was December the 6th.
are you sure?
I am certain.
No, today is episode 6, then it's episode 7, which is Death of the Doctor,
Yeah.
then it's episode 6, which is Torchwood.
No, episode 8, which is Torchwood, on December the 6th. We only upload one a week, dude.
Yes. 13th. Okay. On this day, on the 13th of December, I hate you, Mike. The Android Invasion Part 4 premiered in 1975. State of Decay Part 4 premiered in 1980. And that's all for the episodes. Have any
Okay,
opinions?
fair enough. What was... well, I know State of Decay came up yesterday. But, yeah.
Them two, as both like the whole stories in general, are actually, in my opinion, quite strong stories.
The Android Invasion is probably my favourite out of the two. Classic Tom Baker right there.
Yeah. I mean, it's obviously not often you get Terry Nation writing a story that isn't a Dalek story.
Exactly, yeah.
And to say this is one of them, it was brilliant.
Yeah, well, fair enough. I think if you're going with Terry Nation non-Dalek stories, I prefer Keys of Marinus. But
Yeah, that's fair enough. Here's the birthdays.
Okay.
Tony Curran will be 51. He played Vincent in
Van Gogh.
Vincent and the Doctor. Great actor there. Christopher Reynolds, so however you pronounce his name, he will be 68. He had 2 credits to his name, including The Child in the Mind Robber. I have no idea.
I like that. I like the story, but I couldn't... with a description like The Child, that could
Just
mean anything.
casually a child.
Just the child. Hamish Wilson would have been 78. What did I
He
say?
was
Hamish? Hamish,
Hamish,
yes.
yeah. He was the guy who played Jamie in one episode, right?
Jamie in the Mind Robber, yeah.
Yeah.
I was going to say the Mind of a Warrior, then I thought, no, I just combined in 2 episodes. Yeah. The Mind.
Come up with a great title, though.
Yes. Eric Flynn, who died in 2002, aged 62, would have been 81. He was credited as Leo Ryan in The Wheel in Space.
Ooh, I like that story.
And I'm super confused. No, I'm not. Hamish Wilson, I did mention him, but he died this year, aged 77. I didn't think I mentioned that.
This year? I didn't realise that. Wow.
He died
Okay.
2020,
I
aged
think-
77. And on the day this goes out, he would have been 78. So yeah, he passed away. I didn't hear about that either.
Nice.
Mary Morris died 1988, aged 72. She would have been 105, and she was credited as Panna in Kinda. Let's not start this again.
Look, I found you the clip, dude.
It's Kinda. It's kinda. The final birthday is Norman Atkins, died 1980, aged 71, and she would have been 112. 2 credits, including The Guardian in Colony in Space. Great episode there.
I haven't seen it, I don't think.
And also says the other episode, Rear Admiral in the 1972 story, The Sea Devils.
Lord Sea Devils is a brilliant one.
The Sea Devils would be my favourite out of the 2.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Just before we go any further, can I just check with you two guys that you can hear me okay and I'm not breaking up?
Yeah, I can hear you fine.
Can you as well, Ben? Ben, can you hear me? Hello? Oh, no.
Wait. I can't hear him currently.
Yeah, I wasn't talking just then, but that's all right.
Oh, there we go. Yeah, I can hear you.
Yeah.
Hey.
Oh, that's cool. Good.
So
I'm
you haven't
pleased,
been able to
finally.
hear him the whole time?
Nope.
That's why I asked. I did wonder because it's like I was talking and I don't think Ben was responding, and I was like, "Oh, I've got a feeling I'm not."
Can you
coming
imagine if we
through.
went the whole episode?
I literally just
without-
thought it was something normal that was supposed to be happening.
No, definitely not.
I'm so glad I noticed that. Let's hope that it's picked me up at least on the section, but if not, at least I'm here now.
It has.
So
It
that's
did
good.
pick you up. I could hear you.
Cool.
The final birthday
Very well.
is Jean Dory, died 1984, aged 90. She would have been 127. She was credited as
Wow.
an extra in Day of the Daleks.
They just love extras.
Yes.
I love that story as well. I love that story so much.
Yeah, and the one death today, only one. Tony Sebald died 2011, aged 75. He was credited as Huckle in Terror of the Zygons, one of my favourite classical stories.
Awesome.
Yeah, a very strong one.
Yes. And that is the on the stage section for the 13th of December. Imagine if you just got the wrong date there. But that was it. In the episode recording the other day, there were so many notable names that I just thought, I wish Mike was here, because then he'd actually realise and recognise these names, because in all the other recordings you haven't been able to recognise many of the people. So
Yeah, I recognised a couple just then, but that's why I was wondering why every time I mentioned who they were, Ben wasn't reacting to it. So if it didn't record me, I'm gonna sound like I just didn't have a clue. But yeah.
Now on to the hit or miss section. I will give 10 Doctor Who themes, and you basically say hit or miss. Hit being that's good, miss being avoid, I don't like, as such. So the first one is, mostly because Mike has been watching it recently, the Macra Terror.
Oh, awesome.
I have not.
I'll let Nick guess
I
first.
don't think I've seen it. So, Ben, what do you think of the Macra
The
Terror?
Macra Terror, did you say? Oh, yeah, that's definitely a hit.
Right. I've only seen positive stuff about it. I've got to watch it. Mike.
That's cool. I will say,
Absolutely fantastic.
could you hear that? Or
Yeah, just about.
just about. It's because I'm too far away from the thing. Let me just, yeah.
Absolutely fantastic.
There you go. That was hopefully
Awesome.
clearer.
Yeah.
I just love the dramatic music you can hear behind him saying it.
Yeah,
God, that's
as you
marigold.
know from yesterday, I got obsessed with the Macroterra. I think it's really good. Top upper tier Troughton story. Not necessarily a top sort of 5 or anything, but it's I really love that kind of sort of 50s era sort of paranoid sci-fi type thing. So it
Now
was
I'm
cool.
just
Plus, it was
jealous that I
really,
haven't
it was
seen it.
really well, it was really nice to actually see Ben get something to do, because it's the first time in all of the stories I've watched that he's actually done anything.
Oh, I like Ben. He's one of the better companions in classical.
I quite like that.
Yeah.
He's good, but he never gets like what I meant is he never gets like an A plot. He's always like in the background.
Very fair
Yeah.
enough. Yeah.
Ben's
As
one
much
of those
as,
where he's better off as the duo, like Ben and Polly.
Yeah,
Oh,
that's
yeah.
what I mean, because in
Yeah.
the Moonbase he suddenly becomes like a genius scientist, and it's obvious that he's splitting the Doctor's dialogue with him, you know?
I do love the Moonbase. One of my favourite stories of the Troughton era. Probably my favourite, actually.
Yeah, me too.
Moonbase is great.
Confirmed Ben Jackson is the Doctor.
Ben Jackson is a pretty hot no doctor. That could work.
Let's start that again.
Oh dear.
Yeah, let's not start any of this, otherwise the bloody pre-Arnold Doctor's Twitter account will get on this.
And the
Oh,
NMBs will just
exciting.
boycott us.
Oh dear. The next one again is because Mike has been consuming it. The Time Lord Victorious arc.
Ooh.
Like all the releases recently that cover the Time Lord Victorious. Ben, have you been listening or watching anything?
I've been seeing bits of it, and out of what I've seen, I'd say that the Time Lord Victorious arc is a hit.
Okay.
Okay. I've only seen Dalek animations, so I can't comment. And of course,
All
the
I've
episodes
seen,
that link into
like-
it.
Yeah, all I've seen is the Dalek animated series, the few Paul McGann audios, and then the 3 little stories that were released.
That's not that much. There's not that much more out, really. The book that I haven't read yet. And, I think that's more or less it, actually. Apart from the Dalek figures have little short stories in, but yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Do you want my opinion, Will, on that one?
Sure, go for it. Yeah, of course, go for it.
I will say. Hopefully, you can hear this.
Not bad at all.
Nice.
Yeah, I would say the reason I went not bad as opposed to great or anything, it's I was expecting to like it a little bit more. Maybe I have my criticisms, as you'll know if you heard the live episode or where I reviewed them all. But it's not bad anyway. It's it's fine for what it is. But I'm hoping that in the few things that are left, it's going to kick up a gear, because it just all feels like it's building somewhere and it hasn't got there yet.
Yeah.
Would you say it's worth the money?
It's a big question. Honestly, no.
But for
Because of the
completion's
sheer
sake,
amount.
yes.
Well, saying I mean, I haven't completed anything, but I already said when I reviewed the audios, even though they're good, I don't think paying 12 quid CD or 8 quid download for a 50-minute episode is fair. With no offense to Big Finish, I just think that's overpriced. When you think you can get a full season box set for 30 quid.
Exactly.
11 top episodes, plus you can actually see them.
Yeah.
So I think that's kind of... I mean, things like the books, because they're only about $7.99 anyway, for a book is fine. But the Big Finish audios, the sheer amount of them, and the fact that one of them's only being released initially on vinyl, and yeah, I think that's maybe a little bit much.
Recently, I started to think Big Finish should think about reworking their motto, because they clearly don't love the stories. It's just the money.
Oh, of course, yeah.
Big Finish, we love money.
But you gotta think about the contracts. The contracts to pull the big stars in is probably really expensive.
Oh yeah. I don't blame them
Oh,
for
yeah.
it at all. Yeah, it's just their pricing kind of it's understandable because of what they have to do, but at the same time, I don't think they realise that without the visuals, you're getting half the story. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So
I like Big Finish, but until I get the team up I want, I don't love them.
what team up's that then?
The Eric Roberts Master and Wilfred Mott.
Ooh.
Oh well, the Eric Roberts Master's coming up soon, so.
I know, I've pre-ordered Master. It already looks dead good.
Fair enough.
The only one I'm thinking about getting in the near future is the Eccleston one. That's coming out in May, isn't it?
Yeah.
March or May?
I think so.
Something
Yeah,
like that.
something like that.
That'll be the first
Yeah,
ever
I think
purchase
it's
I make from Big
no,
Finish.
I think it's May.
May, yeah. Still quite a way away, to be fair.
I'll
Yeah.
put it on sale or something, I think.
Alright, leading on from
Well,
that.
think about it, even bloody Rory's getting his own box set now.
Is he?
Oh, Rory's cool, man. Cool.
I do like Rory.
I like Rory, but just the fact that he's getting his own box set.
True.
Come on, Jago and Lightfoot got 6 series, man.
It's about double that now.
The next one on the list is the Lazarus Experiment from Season 3. Series 3, should I say.
Okay.
Ben, do you
Go
want
on
to
then,
lead on?
Ben, I'll let you.
Well, I might be being a bit too easy on it here, but I'm gonna say I actually think it's a hit.
Okay.
Interesting.
I quite like the actual story of it.
Yeah.
Like, I'm not too keen on Mark Gatiss actually portraying Lazarus, and I'm not obviously too keen on the CGI because, well, who is? But I do actually quite like the story. I think it's actually quite strong.
I want to agree with you, but we talked about something similar in the previous episode, and I can't remember if I gave this episode a hit or a miss. Because me and DWG we kind of went through the Mark Gatiss stories and also said hit or miss. And I can't remember what I said about the Lazarus experiment. But if
Well, he didn't write the Lazarus experiment, to be fair, he just acts in it.
Oh, did he not?
Yeah, I used to think he wrote it, but then I found out he didn't.
Oh, okay, so I'm worrying for no reason. Okay, in that case, I'd give this episode a hit.
I just find it dead weird that, like, there's a massive gap, like, in the episodes of Mark Gatiss, because he writes series 1 and 2, but then he don't write till series 5, and then he constantly writes for every series then on.
Yeah.
He did 2 in one of the seasons, didn't he? Or am I...
Yeah,
'cause
series 7.
Season 7 he did Cold War and Crimson Horror.
That was the point he was making, though. He wrote a lot in the Moffat era.
Yeah. That's what I mean, yeah, because like, he missed a few seasons, and then one of the Moffat era ones he ended up doing 2 within like a few episodes.
Yeah. But
Honestly, I actually think
friends
most
anyway.
of Gators are quite strong.
I agree. I said yesterday, or last week, should I say, 6 out of his 9 episodes, no pun intended, 6 out of the 9 episodes are hits. I do like them. I would only say 3 of them would be misses. Mike, what do you have to say about that then?
I don't really know. I can't for the life of me gather together 9 stories that he did. So I'm just trying to go through them in my head. I've got Idiot's Lantern.
No, you're missing a couple there. So
Unquiet
he's
Dead.
done
of
the
course,
Unquiet Dead. I don't want to delve into this again because we've already covered this in the previous episode.
That's fine.
But the Unquiet Dead, the Idiot's Lantern, Victory of the Daleks, Night Terrors, Cold War, Crimson Horror, Robot of Sherwood, Sleep No More, Empress of Mars.
Yeah. I'd say
There's only
there's
2 of
4
those
them.
I'd say are actually misses in my opinion.
I'd say there's only 4 out of the 9 that are any good.
Oh,
Sorry.
wow.
There's one that everyone seems to absolutely hate that I just adore.
Sleep No More.
No, the Idiot's Lantern.
Ooh, okay.
Fine. It's
Yeah.
average.
I don't know why, I just adore it. I still stand by what I've always thought though. Tommy should have become a companion at the end rather than go back to his idiot dad.
Yeah, that happens
I
a lot.
kind
in
of
those
agree,
seasons.
actually. Yeah, Tommy was a good character.
Where,
He could have been
I'm
great
getting
with Tennant.
sidetracked because Gates didn't actually write the Lazarus experiment,
Yeah.
remember?
We do love a bit of Gatiss.
We've gone from an episode with Mark Gatiss acting to Mark Gatiss written episodes.
Yes.
What's going to
Now
happen
let's-
next?
That's my mistake, to be fair.
What's going to happen next with a totally different Mark Gatiss show?
Let's talk
We
about
can discuss
Sherlock.
his very brief cameo in Wedding of River Song if you want.
The thing is, in that episode, his makeup is so good, I didn't even realise it's him.
Yeah,
Yeah, I never knew it was
It's so
him.
different, yeah. And people saying,
Anyway.
oh, Mark Gatiss was in that one. I was like, was he? And then I thought, oh, wow. Because it doesn't
well,
look like him.
we'll review Twice Upon a Time maybe then.
Let's
Yeah.
just move away from Mark Gatiss before we get involved with Sam Kisgart.
Yes, or Rondo Haxton for that matter.
Right, the Lazarus experiment, would you guys give that a hit or a miss? I think Ben said that was a hit.
Ben went with hit, and I think you went with soft hit, didn't you?
Yeah.
I'd go with soft hit.
Well then, I'm gonna be the one that gets everyone's hate and say, I think it's terrible. Sorry. I think every guest actor, with the exception of Martha's sister, is acting like they're in an old Hammer horror B movie.
I
the effects
disagree.
are-
I disagree completely.
The
Martha
effects are
family is great.
awful.
The effects.
Yeah, Martha's
are
family, I said,
awful.
with the exception of Martha's family. I'm talking like Gatiss and Thelma Barlow, who's in the episode.
Hey,
she's in
conspiracy
an old
theory.
B movie.
A character named Leo was announced for Evolution. Martha's brother's named Leo.
It is, yeah. But also, so was the alien from the woman who lived. So, you never know.
True. They were all coming back.
Yeah,
Leo Inception.
the Leo cinematic universe.
Mark Gatiss was good. I agree with his wife. His wife was a bit over the top, but Mark Gatiss, no, I thought for what he was, he's got to be that mad scientist that's also lacking a bit of humanity,
but-
and he portrayed that perfect. Not perfect.
I wasn't too keen on Mark Gatiss's acting. That is what I think the weaker aspects of the story.
Yeah, I
It would
think you
probably
can
be
play
the
mad
wife's
scientist
acting and
without.
also the CGI.
Yeah, I think you can go mad scientist without being hacky sort of B-movie cliche which he fell into. If you want an example of that, even though it's not linked to Doctor Who, look at Alfred Molina in Spider-Man 2. He never comes off as like, ha ha ha,
Yeah.
oh, I will destroy you all, which, you know, you can't do it. So, anyway, yeah, miss for me. We'll move on.
Okay. Next up is the next time trailers.
Oh, that's an interesting one. Go on,
Push
Ben.
the boat out a bit for this one.
This is a difficult one.
It's meant to be.
Because I like the concept of next time trailers, but then I hate it because sometimes they just reveal like
Everything,
massive
yeah.
spoilers.
Like at the end of Army of Ghosts, the next time trailer going into Doomsday. Actually, no. The whatever episode preceded Army of Ghosts, I think it was. Fear Her. The next time trailer for that, it was about all these ghosts, and then in the final shot, you have voiceover from David Tennant saying Cybermen, and I thought all the ghosts are Cybermen, and I thought, why would you reveal that before they've
Because they
actually?
had a bigger
exactly.
reveal. They had a bigger reveal at the end of that episode, so why not?
What are you on about?
At the end of Army of Ghosts, the big reveal in that episode isn't supposed to be that it's Cybermen, because it's relatively obvious. The big reveal would be if they'd spoiled that the void ship opened and Daleks were in it.
No,
Which they
but
didn't
if
spoil.
they hadn't said it was the Cybermen, you'd have two surprises, and the Cybermen bit was meant to be the most impactful. They were
No,
meant to be as
disagree. I think-
impactful as each other, to be fair.
No,
They were
I think the
both really
shock was
strong.
supposed to be the Daleks emerging, but I think you've got to balance, you know, actually getting people interested enough to come back and watch, and the fact that the Cybermen had appeared earlier that season and then not again. I think you've got to kind of accept that. Plus, I mean, they'd already done, I think, some scenes from it in the coming up this season trailer, so people kind of knew it was coming. I think.
Well, yeah, I agree with Ben that they sometimes show too much. However, they made you excited for future episodes. Like in series 5, they like coming soon trailer. I think they've had this with other series as well, before and after. But series 5 in particular, it showed about 5 or
Coming
6
soon
episodes.
trailers.
Yeah.
If it was on them, I hate them.
Oh wow, I love coming soon trailers. But
It's been a while since we've had them, yeah.
but as for
Literally just because of Series 10. If it weren't Series 10, I'd like coming soon trailers. But Series 10.
Oh,
I'll
because
have
they
to look
ruined
back.
they ruined the Master, that's true.
oh,
Yeah.
of course, yeah. I can remember.
Like
the
they announced it
outrage
like
about
a few days before, and then they just showed him in the trailer as well, just like.
And apparently Johnson
Yeah.
was severely angry that happened because he had to go
That
through
was dumb.
hours and hours of
Honestly, I
process
don't
every day.
blame him.
Neither.
Saying that,
must
when I
suck.
watched the episodes, the makeup and his acting was so good that I still had no idea that was him playing that character.
Agreed.
Oh yeah, I was surprised that like when he revealed himself as the Master. Still,
Yeah.
Agree. When I first watched it, I knew that he was going to show up, but I couldn't sense that it was him. And then I rewatched it a couple of weeks ago on my 12 Doctor rewatch, and I thought it's so obviously him now that I know it's him. But on the first watch, I was like, "Who the hell is this geezer?" And then when it said John Sim, I thought, "Holy crap!"
honestly, part of me wishes Razor was just a separate character because he was actually amazing.
Yeah, John Sim was so excellent in that two-parter. I think John Sim is very overhated. I know he's loved by not loved. I know he's liked by quite a bit of people, but when you think about the best masters, you don't think of John Sim. I think of John Sim. I think of John Sim. But when I see people,
I don't think his Master's very good, but I think John Sim is still like a bloody good actor.
100%.
I just think his version is one of the weaker ones, in my opinion.
And that's why I've seen a lot on Twitter, just people saying, no, John Sim's not at the top. And I think that's a bit harsh.
Oh, I don't agree.
I
think
I think the main thing I don't like about John Sim's Master is the whole skeleton thing in The End of Time.
I've spoke about that. I don't like that either.
I don't mind it.
Weird.
It's clearly a sort of 21st century homage to things like The Deadly Assassin, so I'm fine with it. I get what they were going for.
I
Even though
don't
looks
dislike
a bit
it, but I just don't like it either. It's there.
I'm fine with it.
Yeah.
You've got to accept Doctor Who being a bit cheesy sometimes. I mean, come on, look at some of the classic ones.
Okay, so now we're on about the end of time. Back to next
Anyway,
time trailers.
moving to
Next time trailers, because we haven't said hit or miss. But
yes. So,
like I said,
well, Ben said miss. I think, yeah.
Yeah. I mean, I didn't say it, but yeah, it would be a miss from me.
I'd give
cool.
it a hit, and if we're talking about Chibnall era next time trailers, I would say a strong miss because they're awful. What are you saying? It's about 3 seconds of absolutely nothing to do with the story, and it's 3 seconds that doesn't get you hyped. Every time an episode finished and a Doctor Who page posted the clip, everyone was like, how is this meant to get me excited? I was like, I agree, there's nothing there.
Yeah, but I would probably counter that there was nothing exciting in the actual episodes they're trailing to show you, though.
Fair
So, you know what I mean?
I thought you liked the
I don't
Chibnall
blame-
era, man.
I like Series 12, but I've told you already, I like maybe 3 or 4 in Series 11. But I mean, if you were putting together a trailer for Arachnids in the UK, or the Saranga Conundrum, or heck, even the Ghost Monument, what on earth could you possibly show?
I
Those
still
episodes
stand by
are
my
dull.
opinion about Arachnids that it's a really good episode until the final 15 minutes, and then it just
Yeah, but-
descends into rubbish.
I'm going to be honest, I hate arachnids more than fear here.
I agree
It's-
that final 15 minutes are just dreadful.
It's missing a monster. You can't just do giant spiders. That's never been Doctor Who's MO. It's not a bad, again, 50s kind of sci-fi movie type thing. There's no alien influence, and you can't just be like, well, they've mutated the giant spiders. Like, no.
There's only 3 or 4 episodes that actually aren't too keen on in Series 11.
Which one of those?
Fair enough.
The 3 or 4 I'm not too keen on are the Ghost Monument, Arachnids in the UK, the Battle of Ramsgore of Kolos, and then there's also Kablam, but I'm not quite sure my opinion on Kablam.
So did you not have an issue with the Saranga Conundrum? Because I know that's not popular with a lot of people.
No, I actually quite enjoyed the Saranga Conundrum. I did.
Wow.
Yeah, I think
Fair enough.
it's well overhated. I wouldn't necessarily say it's like top tier Doctor Who, but it's massively.
Oh no, I wouldn't say it's top tier, but it's still fun and enjoyable. I think.
I completely agree. You're the first person that I think hasn't been like, no, it's the worst thing ever, and I agree. I think it's fine. Yeah.
It would be my least favourite episode of the modern series.
Well,
Jesus.
I think it's dreadful. I'd rate it a 2 out of 10. There's very few redeeming elements of it. It would definitely be the weakest of Series 11 in my opinion.
I'm just a sucker for sci-fi, so if you're set on a spaceship, I think you automatically go up to like 4 or 5 out of 10 before you start. For me,
So what
I'm
would
just
you...
waiting the people who hate the Saranga Conundrums for their reactions to when they announce Series 13 and the return of the Pating.
Oh jeez.
well, yeah.
And Grace Rock, that'd be
You know
fun.
what I'd love to see, the Pating versus Baby Yoda from The Mandalorian, epic crossover.
Yeah.
Oh dear. So Mike, what would you say
Sorry,
about
I'm
next
sidetracked.
time trailers, hit or miss?
I will say,
Well, yes. Tick.
I think I say that because I think the way they've handled them is quite well, because I respect that if it's like the end of part 1 of a 2-parter, they won't immediately go to the next time. They'll wait until the end of the credits, which I think is kind of clever.
Yeah.
You know, if they don't tend to give too many big spoilers away, with 1 or 2 kind of big exceptions. And I didn't really notice the issue with the kind of the Chibnall ones being particularly boring, especially because there's not really much in the episodes that I would personally be able to put into a trailer for Series 11. So I think they're good. I miss being able to, especially the coming up this season trailers we used to get at the end of the Christmas specials. I really miss those because they used to excite me. So
Yeah, fair enough. So we've got, what do we have there? 2 misses, 1 hit?
yep.
Ooh, okay. Next up we have the 6th Doctor.
Oh.
Miss. That's all I'm saying, miss. Would be my
Miss.
bottom 3.
Wow.
I would have to get some clarification from you.
Not Big Finish, just the show, his
just
story.
Just so, honestly,
because I haven't seen his
is
Big
it-
Finish or heard it, so I
without
can't comment.
if I removed one story, Colin Baker's tenure on TV would be the most perfect tenures for me.
Twin Dilemma.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Almost every one of his other stories I love, or at least really like.
I can see we're now at the opposite ends of the spectrum for this one. So you'll
That's
give it
really
a hit then.
weird.
Yeah, that's fair enough.
Because that's really weird. Because you're on like I would imagine Ben, you're kind of like really like hit. Yeah.
What? Sorry.
I would imagine you're very much like you like the era, so you're saying hate, yeah.
No, I love the Sixth Doctor.
Yes, yeah, so you'd give it a hit.
So, and I'm guessing you. Yeah, and I'm guessing you would be the opposite. You'd be like, no, absolutely hate, yeah.
Miss. Yeah.
Miss for you. I would say I'm bang in the middle, personally.
That's not how this works,
when
Mike.
it comes
You
to-
gotta pick one.
Yeah, if I was going one way or the other, I would just lean into Miss, but it's like 51-49, if you know what I mean. Because there is lots of things in that era that I like, but if we're talking about his Doctor rather than the stories, then I do think, yeah, the portrayal on TV was not that great. So I would go very soft Miss, personally.
It'll be very interesting to put this tweet out and see what the response is.
Yeah,
I would just put
There's
it
only
in
two
the
Doctors I'd actually ever say Miss to.
Who
And
are...
that's-
Who are those two?
13
Yeah,
Oh, how dare you.
agreed.
and 11.
It was nice knowing you, man. Kick you straight out of the chat, I'm sure.
I just left through... I had a mini heart attack, I'm so sad.
Just jump through a window.
Man, how can you not like the 11th Doctor? Or hate or like miss the 11th Doctor? What's up with him? What would you say?
It's just like if you was to put a child in Matt Smith's place as that Doctor, it would be the exact same. Like character of the 11th Doctor, if you let a child play it, it would be the exact same character.
I'm just sitting here sipping tea and waiting to see what Will's response is going to be for that one.
Moving on! Adventure
On
in
that
time
bombshell.
and space.
Oh, okay.
Wait, what was that again? I just
Adventure
missed
in
it
time and
because
space.
yeah.
Because you were contemplating how bad an opinion that is and how you've hurt me and my soul. I'm crying.
So is that docudrama then?
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh yeah.
Now, that's
Funnily
a
enough,
good
I
bit
watched
of,
this yesterday.
that's
wow.
a good bit of Mark Gatiss writing, by the way, which we didn't think, but yeah.
Oh, right, yeah. It'd be a hit
Easy
for me.
hit for me. Easy.
Yeah. Very emotional start and ending.
Absolutely fantastic.
Yeah, same.
Perhaps the best thing to come out of the anniversary, the 50th.
That's not fair. I don't like the people that are. I've already seen the hot takes this morning.
Oh,
like,
I saw
was
it.
a better celebration
I
of
saw
the
it
50th
too, and I
Day
saw
of the
this.
Doctor.
I saw the slander for the Day of the Doctor, and I thought,
Yeah.
the Day of the Doctor is great, and so is an adventure in time and space. Just appreciate the both.
And so is the
Honestly,
Five Doctors
there's a-
reboot, and so is Night of the Doctor. I think it's
Oh,
all great.
there
You
we
can't
go.
say.
I would
sorry,
disagree
go
with the
ahead.
Night of the Doctor because I don't think it was that great. It was good, but it wasn't anything amazing. There's very little you can do.
My only
with such a-
disappointment is that the
Thanks, yeah.
Five-ish Doctors reboot doesn't have its own DVD or Blu-ray.
Agreed.
Well, it's on my 50th Blu-ray set, so I've watched it a good few times.
So
And I just wish it had its own.
Yeah.
It's just
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah, quel dommage, Davros. Yeah.
So we've got 3 hits there into the final 3. Oh, and guess what the final one is? Day of the Doctor, but we won't get there yet. Next
interesting.
up is
Okay.
Series 2.
That's. Oh, I'd have to look up what.
Series
story
2 of the new series.
Yeah, David Tennant.
Oh, I thought you meant season 2. Sorry.
Oh,
Go ahead.
oh.
I've just started this series on a
You want my
rewatch.
honest opinion of Series 2?
Yeah.
This is gonna hurt me as much as it just previously hurt you, isn't it?
Series 2 is my least favourite series of the whole new Who.
Man, are you saying Series 2 is worse than Series 11?
Yes.
Ah, take this knife from out of my back.
Ben, just, have you seen that tweet that just says this man has just woken up and picked Fury? That's what you've done. You just came in here and thought, I will hurt these two men. Why not?
I'm thinking of the meme. Do you know the meme with the little girl with like the evil look on her face and the house just burning behind her? That's Ben right now. He's like, oh, I'm going to show you guys on this podcast.
Oh, jeez. No, but that's fair
I
enough.
don't know why. I just genuinely hate Series 2. There's literally only a few stories I actually like.
Well, okay, I'll go through Series 2, and I'll just give a hit or a miss, okay? Let's rush through this. No opinions, just because we don't want to be here all
just hit
day.
or miss.
Yeah, just hit or miss. We'll go
yeah.
Ben,
I'll
me.
I'll avoid the soundboard and just tell you then.
Okay,
go ahead.
here we go. First one, New Earth.
Miss.
Miss.
Oh, hang on. Are you not including the Christmas invasion?
The Christmas Invasion, Mike, just for you.
Hit.
Hit.
Oh, Christmas Invasion. If I'm included, I'll say hit for Christmas Invasion.
Okay. Christmas, 3 hits. New Earth, miss from me, miss from Ben. You, Mike?
Miss.
Hit.
Now, I watched this yesterday and I thought, it's decent, but if I was to go on either side, here's the thing, would rewatch it because I do kind of like it.
Well,
but it
you
would
said
be
your
a
opinions, we were just gonna
miss.
go
I
quick.
just got to elaborate because I like it, but it would be a miss if that makes sense.
Fair
Next up, Tooth and Claw. I'm rewatching this
Go on then.
tonight. Ben,
Hit.
hit,
Yeah, strong hit.
awesome. School reunion.
Go on, Ben.
Hit.
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 That was dead hard to decide.
Next up, the
It's a hit.
girl in the fireplace.
Did we get your opinion on school reunion, Will? I didn't hear.
I said hit.
Okay. Fair
Yeah.
enough.
The girl in the
we'll go
fireplace.
Ben, me, Will then, yeah.
Yeah.
Hit.
Hit.
Hit. Rise of the
There you go.
Cybermen.
Miss.
Soft hit, but very soft hit.
Massive hit. The Age
Okay.
of Steel.
Miss.
Miss.
Big hit. The Idiot's Lantern.
Okay.
Hit.
Soft miss.
Soft miss. The Impossible Planet. I swear to God.
Massive miss.
I can't tell if
Massive
he's
hit.
joking or not. I can't tell. You do not like The Impossible Planet.
That two-parter just absolutely destroys me.
That might be my favourite episode of New Who.
The two. So, do you tend to like two-parters or no? Because I've noticed the two.
I like two-parters generally, yeah.
Okay, fair enough. I think it would be a hit for me and Mike there for The Impossible Planet.
Yeah.
What about the Satan Pit?
Once again, miss.
Once
Fair
again, very strong hit.
Strong hit for me. Love and
I
Monsters.
think the second part is definitely stronger.
Fair enough. I think both parts
Love
are
and
very strong.
Monsters.
Yeah, Love and Monsters.
Love and Monsters. Just because of the whole different perspective thing, I'm gonna actually say hit.
Oh wow.
I am very on the fence, but I'll go soft miss.
Agreed. I'd go miss for that one. Next up, Fear Her.
Miss.
Miss.
Miss. Army of Ghosts.
Miss.
Very soft hit.
Soft hit for me. Doomsday.
Miss.
Very soft hit.
Hit for me.
Okay.
So that wasn't as bad as I anticipated. It was about 50-50 there.
Yeah, I don't
in
think
terms
that
of
you can say
Ben.
that was a bad season, Ben, because you liked quite a lot of it.
About half. But I don't think he said bad. I just think he said he preferred Series 11 over Series 2.
Okay.
Yeah, well, I like all the series. I just think that's the weakest out of all of the New Who ones.
Fair enough. Let's quickly run through Series 11 because I'm now just curious. Let's do
Okay.
The Woman Who Fell to Earth.
Big hit.
Soft hit.
Miss. The Ghost Monument.
Massive miss.
Miss.
Miss. Rosa.
Hit.
Soft hit.
Soft miss. Arachnids in the UK.
Massive miss.
Miss.
Miss. The Conundrum. I'm not even going to attempt that second word.
Suranga.
Saranga.
Conundrum.
Yeah. That one.
Big hit.
Soft hit.
Massive miss. Demons of the Punjab.
Good hit.
Super strong hit.
Strong hit. Kablam.
Soft hit.
Hit.
Soft hit. The Witchfinders.
Soft hit.
Best episode of the season hit.
Strong hit. It Takes You Away.
Massive hit.
Massive miss.
Massive miss. The Battle of Front. I've got to give an opinion on It Takes You Away. It's the most overrated piece of poo I have ever seen. It's a high budget CBBC episode. I do not like it. I do not like a single thing about it. It's dreadful, and that I've got that off my chest now. So yes. Final one: The Battle of Fransko af Kolos.
Massive miss.
Massive miss.
Massive miss.
Yeah, I don't think you could really say that you prefer Series 11 to Series 2 then, in that case, then.
So which would be your favourite of the series, out of interest? Of Series 11?
What, which?
Which episode
Wait,
of
which
Series 11?
episode of Series 11 would be my favourite?
Would be your favourite, yeah.
It'd be drawn, probably, between the Saranga Conundrum and It Takes You Away.
Fair enough. Mike, what would yours be?
I told you, the Witchfinders.
Okay, mine would be Demons of the Punjab. And as you could probably
That's a
tell,
very close second, yeah.
yeah, the second half of the series is definitely better than the first, and I think most people have got that same.
Well, I mean, more of the first half of the series was written by Chibnall. Just saying.
Yeah, exactly. I just don't know. Chibnall hasn't done well so
In fact,
far.
I'm pretty sure he has writing credits on every episode in the first half, even if it's just co-writing.
Yes, he did. Yep. Episode 1 to 5, he had a credit, and then also episode 10.
That is not comedy. I don't want to get us down a rabbit hole, so we'll carry on with the last two.
Yeah, we've spent a long time on this section. Next up,
What did we even start with on this section?
The Macro Terror.
Series 2.
Oh, right,
yeah, sorry,
Series 2, yeah, we started with that one. Next up, Chris Chibnall stories. And I'm not making
I think we might as well have covered it with that last one.
Yeah, well, that was Series 11, but let's go with Series 12, his stories. Resolution.
Are we including
Right, Chris
Torchwood as
Chibnall
well?
stories. I'm gonna go hit.
Yeah.
I'm just going to get his credits
You know
up.
what? I'm going to go ahead and say...
Look at these people. These human beings. Consider their potential.
I think consider that potential. You know what I mean? Because I'm very 50-50, but I think if you include his work on Torchwood and his work before he became showrunner, I think there's more that I like than I dislike.
Agreed. His
Don't
Torchwood
tell me we're
stuff is
going
great.
through all of it as episodes now.
No.
Oh, no.
No. But I'm looking at his credits now, and his Doctor Who credits since he became showrunner, it's just not that impressive.
I like his Series 12 stuff, just to say.
I was just about to say, his Series 12 stuff is definitely
I
stronger
like
than
his
his
Series
11
12
stuff.
stuff, yeah.
Yeah.
But my favourite 2 episodes of Series 12 aren't even by him still, so...
I don't know if he did co-write on my favourite episode of the season, to be honest. I feel like he might have.
Which
You'd
one?
have to look it up. Can you hear me?
He co-wrote that with Charlene James.
Okay, fair enough.
I'm just not going to say anything now.
If we were including Broadchurch in that, I would say very I'd say a hit, but since we're not including that, just the Doctor Who and Torchwood in that kind of universe, I would say miss.
Well, we're trying to say
Soft miss.
Broadchurch is now canon.
Yes.
Do you want to
Broadchurch is canon.
hear? Do you want to hear
Dr.
an opinion
Pose as a
from me?
police detective.
What was that, Mike?
Do Do you want to hear an opinion from me that may get me kicked off the podcast and then people just come round and burn my house down?
Sure.
My heart's taken enough.
I quite like the episode Cyberwoman.
Matt.
Thank you. Yes.
You would agree with that? I dropped out because I was so upset.
I don't. Just to be clear, I don't like the design of the Cyberwoman, but I think the writing of the episode is good. Oh dear, we killed Will.
The day of the Doctor.
Well, I know what the last one was.
Yes, the day of the Doctor.
Oh, there we go.
Right, guys. Ben,
Oh, is that
what do you
this
think?
one now?
We
The
did
Day of the Doctor?
The day of the Doctor. Yeah, we've moved on.
Soft hit.
Okay,
Okay.
Mike.
I will say. Hang on.
Absolutely fantastic.
I think it's brilliant. I love it.
Yeah, strong hit for me. I'd probably give it a 9 or a 10 out of 10. One of my favourite stories.
I'd probably give it like a 7.
Oh, that's pretty good. That's fair enough. Yeah.
I'd hover between 9 and 10, but I think it improves the more I watch it, which is rare. Normally I'm like, oh, it's not as good as the first
Yeah.
time. Yeah.
It was really exciting on first rewatch, but then every time I just rewatch it, I think this is absolutely incredible. This is such a great episode, and I've never watched it and thought, this could have been done better.
There's only
I don't
two
think
things
that.
I absolutely love about the episode.
Which
And that's
are-
John Hurt's performance as the War Doctor and the No Sir All 13 scene.
Yes. Both great moments. Not gonna lie.
Tennant and Matt Smith and John Hurt, they were all superb. Even
Yeah.
Clara,
Come
for
on,
that sake.
Chibnall's got this potential here. It's the 60th in 3 years, and we've just basically given like about God knows how many new Doctors to us. Give us an enlarged version of the No Sir All 13.
No, sir, all 502.
How exciting. So we got 3 hits there, yeah?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Definitely. But softer, I think, in the case of Ben than us.
Fair
Yeah.
enough. Now that concludes the hit or miss section. That was pretty long. Woo! And now, Ben, would you like to reveal the episode we'll be reviewing today?
If I'm not mistaken, it's Class for Tonight We Might Die.
That is the correct answer. Congratulations. Oh dear.
That title sequence. Well, not really the title sequence, just the music.
Very weakly. Sorry, what were you going to say?
Because I don't want to get us flagged, so...
That's fair enough. We're not making any money from this anyway.
Oh, okay.
So, have you actually watched the episode back, Ben?
Yep.
Awesome. So you've got some notes in chronological order?
Yes.
Awesome.
Well, I mean, a few notes.
Fair enough. I think Mike has went into a lot more detail than both of us have, so don't worry about that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I've got like one note for every now and again.
It's same pretty much. I spoke about the first half more than the second half, but yeah. Do you have like a log line talking about your summary without being too spoilery, just before we go into the notes?
Not really, no.
Fair enough. Mike, do you have one?
I do.
Okay,
'cause,
cool.
You know, this is not my first rodeo, so I know how to do this now.
Yeah,
Do you want me to give it now?
go for it.
I have said a fast-paced introduction that juggles a lot, establishing the central team of characters and their places in the Doctor Who universe along with the show. Hangs this all on some brilliant sci-fi concepts and storytelling by Patrick Ness, a surprisingly action-packed, tightly scripted episode of television, doing all the necessary table setting but never feeling like we have to wait until next week for the story to properly start.
I can now see why you said it was essay standard reviews, because he was bigging up his review in the comments.
Don't say that. People are gonna think I'm just really simply like off my zone, you know.
Yeah, mine's a bit more simple. I said a solid start to a series that I may have seriously overrated in the past, but I can only really say that with a full rewatch. With a collection of decent characters and some up and down acting, there's a lot of sought after potential. And that was it. That was my log line. It's meant to be a log line, Mike, not an essay. Right, if we just want to jump straight into it, I've got the pre-title sequence notes. I said, intense pre-title sequence which cemented the themes of the show. I said, instead of convenience, it gave me the impression that I would flesh out ideas, which it mostly did. For example, when the rip in time was introduced, it dipped to black, and if it were in Doctor Who, that would likely tie into the title sequence. But it in fact faded back in as the rip became bigger, introducing the planet inside of it before being engulfed in the shadows, and I thought that was an ingenious way to open a story.
Okay.
Yeah.
Did you have any thoughts on the pre-titles, Ben, or not?
It was okay. It wasn't the best, it wasn't the worst.
Okay.
Fair enough. Mike?
Well, I said it was very reminiscent to me. I don't know if you guys have seen this, but it's very reminiscent of the pre-credit scene in the pilot of Buffy the Vampire Slayer, which also starts with a man and a woman running through a school from some unseen danger, but then the woman turns out to subversively be the kind of part of the threat, which Quill kind of was. So I think.
Funnily enough, I watched that last week.
Did you? Oh wow, that's cool. Wow. That's so weird.
I don't know, but I think did he mention that at the end as well when he was going through the vampire diaries?
When they're describing what the rift in time is, they compare it, to the thing from Buffy. Absolutely. So yeah, I think it immediately gives you the bursts of music and action to show that it's for kids, isn't it? And I loved the intro of, I think it's pronounced Caracanus. I think the effects for him, the VFX and the prosthetics are brilliant. And that's all I have to say about that.
Okay. I also really like the theme tune and the graphics. The designer did a great job. I especially like the end where it cuts to the fizzling before jumping into the episode. It was kind of like the Series 7 sequence in Doctor Who, but they did it with the actual episode, jumping into the episode where it fizzles into the episode, as opposed to the Series 7 one where it fizzles into the next graphic. But with the classic, kind of just zoomed in, cross-zoomed, I think it's called. Cross-zoomed and then it went out. And then I think the title sequence and the theme tune, well, not technically the theme tune, it was just a regular song, as Meg mentioned earlier. But yeah, the graphic, the designer, did a great job. Really like.
I thought the title sequence was actually quite good, like all the visuals in it and everything. As for the music, I absolutely despised it.
I think you either really like it or you really dislike it. I don't think there's any middle ground. As a Doctor Who spin-off, you wouldn't expect something so upbeat, but then it's class and it's meant to be like teenagers, and I think it kind of fits the theme of the show, kind of. But I do like it. It's meant to be an intense title sequence, and I thought.
To be fair, I don't like much music anyway.
Fair enough.
Yeah, well, I've said that, the titles are colourful and they move, obviously, like a music video. I was definitely reminded of White Stripes, Seven Nation Army. But it also ties into the Doctor Who theme, the Vortex, with the kind of colours coming straight at you and in that sort of tunnel kind of way. Initially, I said that the song sounds like it could be an indie teen pop rock song, and it turns out that's exactly what it is.
Right.
But I said that establishes your tone, the kind of youth-focused tone, and it's worth noting that the font of the title is the same font used for Doctor Who Season 8, which links it to the parent show.
Oh wow. I didn't realise that. Fair enough. And if we're going to jump into the episode, I said, and one of the characters have a really complicated night. It's like Mateus. But is that how you pronounce his name? Mateus.
Just Mateus, yeah.
Oh, okay.
Yeah, Mateus.
I just completely made a fool of myself. Completely over exaggerated that. Okay.
It's spelled weird, to be fair, but yeah,
Yeah.
you just pronounce it Matthias.
I put how it portrayed Charlie and Matthias' coming together was superb. It was very warm and nice moments leading up to Charlie telling April that he's taking Matthias to the prom, and I think they handled that really
Wow,
well when it could have been really
You jumped
offensive.
well ahead.
No, it didn't. That was about 5 minutes into it.
Was it?
Yeah.
I don't remember Matthias even appearing until way later.
No, I can get the graphics up now. I can have a look. But yeah, whatever your notes are, just talk about them and I'll
Can we
get
just
up.
appreciate the fact that Charlie in class looks up Idris Elba on the internet?
Yeah, because he doesn't know pop culture because he's an alien. That's what it's doing that for, you see.
Yeah, I know, but Idris Elba, he's just a bloody legend.
Yeah, but he's an alien. So.
I did no,
Plus
but
it has to show you
Yes,
I do
Idris
think
Elba's
that
the
was
alien
kind of
all along.
weird. I thought that was
Yeah.
kind of weird because I don't think it didn't say like any references of Idris Elba. I was like, okay, you're
It
searching
did.
this, but
No, it
why?
did. It did. It did. You want to see
What was it then?
It definitely did.
What was
I
it?
cannot for the flipping life of me
What does it?
remember.
What do you mean by references?
I can't remember. I would have to get the script up, but there is one of the.
Like when he
characters mentions-
searches him, it does come up with some stuff about Idris Elba.
No, that's what I'm
it's-
saying. But
the
why?
reason he searches
Why
is
did
because
he
it's
search it?
mentioned in dialogue. Give me a sec. I'll go
Oh,
look at
right.
the script.
Yeah, I'm not sure.
Oh, fair enough. But I did say at the
It
start.
definitely does though.
I did not get that.
Okay, 2 seconds. I'm on the script now.
Alright, while he searches that up, I just want to say the coach looks like
Okay,
Hugo.
yeah.
Oh, okay. I'll
I've
save
got
that.
it. So Quill says, "Look at you all, cream of the crop, high achievers. No wonder this country only exports Downton Abbey." April, I like Downton Abbey. Tanya, of course you like it. It's a bunch of white people being nice to each other. Ram, you'd watch it if Idris Elba were in it. Charlie pulls out his phone, trying to find out who Idris Elba is.
Gotcha. Okay.
There you go.
Thank you, the reviewer, please. I'll put that in mind next time. This guy knows too much. He can't be left alive. I know
I
that.
paid attention. What can I say?
Whoa. I was just infatuated on the references to Downton Abbey. I just didn't catch the Idris Elba bit.
Well, we'd watch it if Idris Elba was in it.
I do like a bit of Idris Elba.
Honestly, even Idris Elba couldn't make Downton Abbey better than it is, because trust me, it's not good.
I haven't seen
Yeah, I've
it.
never watched it. I never would, to be fair.
I've seen like a few episodes and it's not good.
Fair enough.
I didn't even want to watch it. It was just on.
So the scene that I've got immediately after the credits, Will, sorry, was
Yeah,
the.
I was going to say, if I was too far ahead then, I won't say my next one for a while. Go for it.
Well, I just said that it opens with a pop song, again establishing that it's like a youth thing, and the camera specifically tracks every one of your main characters
Yes.
as they're going to school, which again is also something that Buffy does, and it also gives you a shorthand to introduce to what the characters are like, because I notice as Ram goes past Charlie, he calls him a posho and pushes him, so it kind of immediately establishes those two characters and their relationship.
Yeah.
Then straight after that is when you get April and Tanya discussing the Bechdel test, which is a good postmodern reference, but also sets up their characters. And then you immediately get Mr. Quill introduced, who straight away is seen as aggressive, confrontational, and mean as she walks down the corridor, like shouting at people and stuff.
Miss Quill's amazing.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, I'll get into that in a bit, yeah.
So then you have April and Charlie, sort of, with April trying to ask Charlie out, which immediately establishes the kind of teen romance that you get in these sort of youth teen shows. But obviously, as you said, Charlie seems kind of oblivious, and she doesn't realise he's gay at first.
Yeah.
And then that's when you get into the classroom scene, which I've said the mobile phone on-screen graphic as he looks up Idris Elba is to show Charlie not being familiar. It also sets the show's time and the audience, and does the kind of modern thing of, yeah, we know it's 2016, whatever it is, so we've got mobile phones and the internet.
Thank you for that. No, but I'm glad you went back there because I also really enjoyed the scene, the continuous shot that established all the characters, and
Yeah.
the kind of way it started upside down, then it zoomed out, and the cameraman started walking away from the car. I thought that was a great bit of editing and also film and direction there. So yeah, fair enough, good for a scene. But then it was kind of jarring when I think his name is Ram. Yeah, it's definitely Ram. And he starts very standoffish outside, and also in the classroom. But he says, "Why am I talking to you nerds?" And I think, if you weren't talking to them, who were you talking to? Because he was talking to no one else. And I was like, these are the people you talk to. Why are you so miserable?
No, it specifically shows you that he's the football star. Like he's on the
No.
team
I'm
and he's
saying
made to go
that.
there.
But if he wasn't talking to anyone else, who would he be talking to? There was no one else in the classroom that he was associating himself with. So why was it necessary to include that dialogue? I get why, but it was just weird because he was talking to no one else. It was just them.
It's shorthand again, isn't it? It's writing and directing shorthand to be like, this guy is the outsider who thinks he's too cool for this group.
But then I think that was best portrayed at near the end, where before the attack, where his girlfriend says, "I know you've got this football sportsman ego, but I love you for the person you are underneath that." And I thought that portrayed it well. Him saying mean things about people didn't.
I think it sets it up better for me because you have to have something to subvert, and him calling them all nerds meant that it was more of a shock when it's revealed that he's getting like online tutoring by Tanya, who's like younger than all of them.
Yeah, guys, you're all nerds. I hate you all. Let's talk.
Yeah, well, again, that's something that happens in schools. Believe me, from my own personal experience, there was a lot of guys who were like, "Oh, I'm way too cool for you, but there's nobody else in this class, so I guess I'll talk to you and take the piss for a bit." You know?
Fair enough. How long ago was that, Mike?
Oh, shut up. Put it this way, I wouldn't have been looking up anything on my mobile phone because they wouldn't effing exist.
Yeah. What's the mobile phone? Like that scene in Father's Day. What's that?
Yeah.
Oh, it's my mobile. And then Pete just says, "A what?" Like super confused.
Yeah, that's something you hang above a kid's crib, isn't it?
I also put the coach looks like Hugo Lloris, the Spurs goalkeeper.
Well, vital things there you're picking up on. I like it.
Yes.
Yes.
Like in Human Nature,
Important
in, the
directorial
climax, in Human Nature, the climax scene, you mentioned how I noticed the mud as opposed to the actual scene of the dialogue. It's just like these kind of things. But when I saw him, I thought, that's Hugo Lloris, and I thought, surely not.
I wouldn't know. I'm not a ram. So there you go.
Have you not seen Hugh?
I'm way more.
Do you not watch football?
I'm way more like. I used to, and then I just stopped caring. To be perfectly honest,
Fair
I
enough.
have a team that I support, but given that they're terrible, it kind of put me off. So.
Okay.
Yeah, I don't like football, so.
Oh yeah. I don't think many people that I actually know on Twitter actually like football. Whenever I just mention it, I get shut up. Just stop talking about football, please.
No, I used to
Like, I
follow it a lot
support a
more.
team, but I don't really care for it.
So who's your team then, Ben?
Derby.
Derby County. Okay.
Yeah.
How about you, Will?
Bristol Rovers for me.
Newcastle United for me, obviously. So there you go. Turns out I'm doing better than either of you guys.
We're near the bottom of the table. We just sacked our manager.
I wouldn't know.
But
yeah,
my
anyway.
fantasy Premier League team's doing well today. I'm very happy with that. Dominic
Guys,
Calvin-Lewin
this
coming
is not
clutch to get me some points.
This is not connected to
Yes,
class.
it is.
Yeah, she'll
because
just
of
get
the
back on with
football.
class.
It's the football scenes. It's the football scenes.
So,
Ram.
we see Miss Quill looking at pictures of cats on the internet despite the big scientific thing she puts on, which is kind of funny, yeah?
That was just weird. Why was she looking at cats? She's miserable. Yeah, she's looking at cats. Why?
But it's to show
Conspiracy
you-
theory. Miss Quill looks at cats, she gets interested in them, and she eventually causes the evolution to cause cat kind, and therefore inadvertently creates Novice HoM and Brannigan.
Nice. Alternatively, she's the same kind of species as Alf from the 80s TV show Alf, and she eats cats, and that's like a menu for her.
Now that's the perspective I was going. I was like, she's looking at cute cats. Does she want to kill them or eat them? And I thought I wouldn't put that past her.
Yeah, I didn't see that. I thought it was just trying to be funny and cool, like, solve this scientific equation, you nerds, and then you think she's going to be doing something really highbrow and she's
Just
looking at
a
big
sec.
cats.
Yeah, I heard
That's okay.
the background. It's alright. It was just these odd decisions, the creative decisions. Some hit, some just didn't.
I have
work.
to say the note that I put down here, it's not necessarily hugely vital, but I just think it's a weird thing that came into my head that when Quill's doing that and she's looking at the kids, I've just put that's some beautiful Karen side eye from Quill. She's got the Karen haircut, she's given them the depth there. Just... are we okay? Are we on? Will, are you there?
Will was never seen again.
Will. Oh, I thought that was your room, Ben. I didn't realise it was Will's.
Hello,
No,
hello,
just
hello,
not
I'm back. What's up? Hello.
Hello, you there?
Yeah, I'm here.
Yeah.
You're back from the dead, Will.
Yes, my blanket
know.
got caught up with the wire. I'm back. Hi.
Hello there. So yeah. Anyway, you missed my fantastic comparing Miss Quill to a Karen from the modern memes.
Oh,
So
great.
you'll just have to
Oh,
listen to that.
back. Oh, listen back. Yeah. Okay. Oh.
Very briefly, I did say that it was nice that we got another little montage to show that April was disconnected and desperate for like friends to help with the prom, and the direction shows you that. And then the very next thing I've got notes about is the first appearance of Matthias. So I'm finally up to where you.
Woo! 5 minutes in. Well done. It wasn't even
Sorry.
that far in. It wasn't that far. It was
I
after
had
the
a lot
classroom.
to say.
Yeah, fair enough. What have you said about him then?
I just said it's confirmed that Charlie's gay, and it establishes that this show's kind of LGBT friendly and it doesn't ignore that side of things.
Yeah.
And it furthers the idea of kind of the teen romantic drama angle.
Mm.
So, yeah.
Yeah, and it delivered it very well. It could have been a lot worse.
Yeah.
But yeah, they portrayed it
It
well.
does better than Torchwood's first episode. We'll put it that way.
Stop giving me these references when I don't understand them. You're just
You'll
making me
see.
want to rewatch. I'll rewatch it. And
Have you not
come back
seen
to it.
Torchwood?
Yes, I have, but it was a while back, and he keeps referencing the scene, and I just can't remember it, so I'm gonna have to rewatch it.
Oh,
And that's
yeah.
what it was on about
I
just
like
then.
Torchwood more than Dot 2.
Oh wow, I do like series 3 of Tortured more than most modern Who series. That's for sure. Most classic Who
Good point.
fair as well. Series 3 is great. Even series 4, but that's torturous. Let's not go on a tangent about that.
So, do you want to take us through, and then if you jump too far ahead, I'll just go back and catch up with you via my notes if you
Okay.
want.
I can tell this is going to happen every single time I mention something. I put the comedy when Tanya entered the shop with the old lady.
That was amazing.
That was so funny. It took me a second or two to realise the under far too much pressure joke, and then when the woman said, "Tell me about it," it took me 1 or 2 seconds to realise what was being said. But then I actually laughed when I realised it was so funny. And then I caught my husband fiddling with himself on the staircase. It was so random, but it was funny as well. It was random, but it was funny because it was so weird and random. It was just
I didn't write anything because I think you could lose that entire scene and it wouldn't make a difference. But that's the only scene I was like, well, I've got nothing to say. So there you go.
I think they did it because the shop owner. I think the shop owner returns in a future episode. He's just like a recurring character.
Oh, that makes sense.
Yeah,
Okay.
but that's why they established him.
Conspiracy theory: the shop owner is the shopkeeper.
Wow.
He's the Corsair. That's the actual conspiracy theory.
Next up,
And the new one is the shop owner is the shopkeeper is the Corsair.
Yeah.
I put Catherine
Clever.
Kelly
It's all connected.
epitomized the role superbly, being an alien in a human body, and also on the flashback scene where April was talking about, so do you actually look like that? And then it kind of cuts back to them actual aliens. I love that bit.
You are well ahead of me again.
No, but I'm just referencing that bit to,
Yeah. Okay,
to
cool.
back up the point. I put her biting the chocolate so sharply was excellently portrayed when she was so aggressive with the chocolate and eating. And I also put, relating to that scene, the moments near the start and also right at the end where Charlie and Miss Quill talk about their frustrations and their inner demons, and it was written and acted brilliantly. And I also put Kelly and Austin were excellent, both of them along with Capaldi were the highlights of this episode.
Okay. Okay.
That's what I got for that scene.
The only real note that I've got on that scene is that I think that the actress, and sorry, I don't know her name, I didn't look it up. The actress playing Tanya is not great, and that's the only slight misstep, particularly when the scene when the shadow starts attacking and she's talking to herself. It really jars. It just seems unrealistic. But then later in the episode, again, I'm not just jumping straight to there, but later on we get April decorating for the prom talking to herself, and I think it works better because Sophie Hopkins is a better actress, so she kind of sells it as believable better.
I agree, because referencing that very scene where she's on the bed talking to Ram, and then she says, we're talking to each other, isn't this nice? And then that scene ends with her on her bed, like before the attack. It kind of cuts back, then the attack happens, but she's on her bed and the camera's on like a high angle and looking down at her. She says, oh, we're together, and then it cuts and then there's no one there. And I thought that could have been, or should have been directed so much better. Like if it was like a pan out, it would have been so much better. And I put there, it touches upon the very real struggles of students, like loneliness and bullying, and whilst it wasn't always portrayed well, the message was clearly there, and I appreciated that. But like I said, the directing in that scene, it wasn't the best.
Did you have anything you wanted to add? Because I don't want to talk over you, Ben. So just to see if
No, not really, no.
Fair enough.
I thought I did mention, but I was just going to say, I think I did mention somewhere that I still can't get around the humanoids, like fiery creatures, like in the Fires on Pompeii and also in this episode. I know it's Doctor Who and Class, and it's meant to be like sci-fi, and it's meant to be a bit.
Sorry, I'm cutting in. I'll be back in a minute.
Okay, soon a bit. I also put, like I said, it's just very unrealistic, and I thought, I just can't dig it. I just can't get my head around like a fiery creature made of rocks in somebody's bedroom or living room. I just can't see it.
I'm completely the opposite, but yeah, I won't get us bogged down in that. But I think the design of the character, as I've already said, of the Shadow King, I love the design. I think it's brilliant. I think it's super effective.
Yeah, I agree with that. But when it was just fire and rocks, I just thought, like in that very scene.
It's not though, is it? Okay, it's black smoke and shadows that you see before the creature appears. It's not like it appears in a fireball.
It does. It does.
Doesn't it?
It does. It looks exactly like, well, not exactly like, but it does look like the series 4 episode for Fires on Pompeii.
I didn't pick up on that, but then again, the pyrovials are like, what, 20 feet tall? And so not really.
Because it kind of like emerged from the floor and it was made of fire and smoke, and I thought, she's being attacked by a shadow and whatever, and she was using the lights to combat fire, and at the end, the shadow, or whatever it is, it kind of dissolved in a ball of fire.
Right, okay, fair enough. I don't mind that, but yeah, we'll go on.
And like I said, I think you mentioned that scene wasn't the best, also the acting, but I did say Tanya's mother bursting in after the attack was some nice relief to that to that rubbish scene, and with a bit of comedy when she said, "What's going on in here? You were talking to a boy." I love that line. Even though in the very next scene the room is fine and the mother had left, it was just a bit like after such an intense battle scene, the room is fine and there's no damage and all the books are still on the shelf, and I thought, very
Okay, well, I'll have to go back a little because you've jumped through a few of my notes.
Just a few.
But yeah, so just after the scene with Tanya talking to herself, where you first see the shadows, I've said that The next scene, I really like the music. It's not a pop song for the first time, and it's introducing you to the alien weirdness of Charlie and Quill. You get a lot of clever, subtle establishing that they're not quite human. You get flashbacks showing the importance of the gun, but the exposition is done through actual movement and interesting flashbacks, which holds your attention. It's not just like a one shot of Catherine Kelly talking about what the gun does and who they are for the next 5 minutes, which again is something that Torchwood did. So there we go. I think you establish April as trustworthy but unpopular, because then you get the scenes of her intercut with Tanya and Ram. You get their connecting over both being non-white, which is at least the show's kind of noting that. Yeah, I've said that the scenes where the shadow monster attacks I thought were very reminiscent of like a horror movie. It specifically shows you these weird angles which are to put you at like not at ease, and leaves the empty space like to the back and to the side of the characters where anything could jump out. So I think the director may be familiar with the tropes of like horror, which is a bit cliche, but it's very functional.
Are you referencing the scene where they like are kind of revealed and the shadows, like when April, I think it was in the hall doing the drawings, and it kind of the shadow across the arm?
No, I'm talking about specifically the attack on Tanya when they're talking over the internet.
So where I was in my notes. Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Okay. So like the shadows in the background
I think
going across the wall, right?
Yeah, because then I've said that, because you get obviously those two attacks happening at once. So I've said that Miss Quill bursts into the gym and basically gives a very doctor type speech about, I am war, you're not ready for this kind of thing. And I think that whole kind of attack sequence could be straight out of Doctor Who if it wasn't for the fact that you then hear the character say the word shit twice. Unfortunately.
She would have been a great doctor, I think she would have played that part very well.
Catherine Kelly? Yeah, she would have been very good.
Catherine Kelly, very good.
You never know.
Before we move on, Ben, do you have any notes leading up to this bit?
No.
Okay. Because I do realise we are talking quite a lot.
Right.
No. So if there's nothing else you have up to this moment, I'll go on to the flashback scenes to their home planet. I know I'm probably far ahead of Mike at this point, but
not that far, but you could do a couple of things.
Okay, I put the flashback scenes to their home planet were beautifully shot. The TARDIS materializing was magnificent, and the marigold skull that was included was superb. And I must admit, I wasn't that interested into their backstory. I got just a bit like, get on with it.
Strong disagree.
So you agree? So you don't disagree that their story was actually, in fact, interesting?
I think their backstory was possibly my favourite thing in the episode. I think it's brilliant and it's really intriguing. And I've said
it's one of my favourite things too.
No, don't get me wrong. I like how it was shot, but I don't like how I don't like the story itself. But I do like how it was shot.
No.
Okay.
I've made a note later, as I said, which I'll skip now, where I've said that the story of Quill and Charlie and their planet could be a science fiction movie within itself if you remove the Doctor, and I'd watch it, and I think it would be good.
Yeah. Yeah, but in that 2 minutes, I just wasn't that invested. But there we go. There we go.
But okay. So Ben, what were you going to say?
No, I just think the whole flashback bit was actually quite good. I quite enjoyed it.
Yeah, I agree. I enjoyed it, but I wasn't invested in the story.
You just said you didn't care.
Yeah, I don't care about the story. I wasn't invested in it, but I keep saying that it was shot beautifully. It was I enjoyed the moment, but the story I wasn't interested in.
I strong disagree.
Okay, fair enough. I also put a nice touch to have the scenes with the characters and their parents before they went to the prom. They talked about disability and also keeping secrets, and I thought...
Have you just skipped over completely the most important part of the plot, which is April getting connected to Caracas via her?
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was just like, did April get attacked?
It's pretty important.
I referenced that later in the episode when she was actually possessed. Near the end,
here, like
where the tear was ripped open. But yeah, okay, if you want to talk about it now, fair enough, go for it.
Well, I've said that, yeah, the attacks that take place, it's interesting. The music basically fades into slow motion and then concludes with calm when the attack finishes. You get Miss Quill pulling out a device, kind of sonic screwdriver-esque alien scanner to again show that she's alien. That establishes your connection between April and Caracanus by a very sort of good shorthand. And I think the line about where Miss Quill says that you now share each other's heart, he now has April's heart, and Miss Quill says it's big enough with disgust, I said was fantastic dialogue, because in one very brief sentence it sums up Quill and April's characters really perfectly. And related to that, as soon as it shows you that Charlie will not kill Caracanus because it'll kill April, it establishes him as being kind and not being the same kind of species or morality as Quill. So, yeah.
Yeah, I do like
I
these
quite
ones, and the music was great. Agreed. Go for it, Ben.
I quite like the whole concept of the same heart thing. I think that's quite a good idea.
Yeah.
That's like how in my brain from the first time I watched it last year. It was just that I thought, well, the actress is still very good. What was her name, Mike?
Sophie Hopkins, who played April.
She was very good. I do enjoy. She put in a good performance.
Apparently, she's lovely as well. I've got a friend who met her at a convention and said she was like super sweet, which is always good to hear.
Yeah. And I think I did mention it earlier. Greg Austin, even though he has been in a couple controversies since, he was a great actor. Well, not a great actor, but
what is it with people in the Hooniverse getting into controversies?
I know.
I don't see his controversies. His controversy is stupid because it literally just amounts to him saying he didn't think Series 11 was written that well.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, I'm a defender of
To be
that.
fair, I agree with this, so it can't be that.
I agree, but it was just the kind of people that are saying you can't say that.
It's just people taking something to leap on and be like, oh, you're in the Doctor Who universe, you can't criticise it. Yes, he can. Let him go.
But the thing is,
saying that,
so many people do that with every new series. Yeah, but I agree. But the thing is, people are quick to defend the brand new series. Like, this isn't awful, and then the same people that were defending it then are conceding that it wasn't the greatest series and that it just wasn't that good. When it was actually airing, those same people were saying, "Oh, it's great."
Man,
yeah.
People just want to look on something to be outraged about and just to spend their time arguing on Twitter because they've got nothing better to do.
Exactly. And in a year's time, they'll probably think it. They'll probably won't think it's the greatest series of all time, like they were saying at the time. But it's just a bit of fake outrage, in my opinion. It's just something they need something to argue about.
Fun story about Series 11. So this person was doing a live stream about arachnids in the UK after it aired, and I said in a live chat that I basically thought it was shit, and they stopped me from talking in it. Literally just because I thought it was bad.
See, I've always said everybody's entitled to an opinion. That was my point, is that I don't get why people are saying, oh, Greg Austin should be cancelled for having an opinion. If your own opinion about something is so fragile that if somebody disagrees, you hate them, then maybe it's you that's the issue, you know what I mean? Just because he doesn't like Series 11 doesn't mean that I'm going to like it more or less. It's just his opinion, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Let him go.
But yeah, I think he put in a good performance. I think they all did, to be fair, but Tanya was probably the weakest link, as you said.
I think so,
yeah. I've got a bit ahead, like you said, so if you've got any notes up to that point, the parents talking.
I've said that I like how it subverts cliches on a few occasions, and it was also notable when Charlie reveals to April that he's an alien, and she says, yeah, of course, you have no idea about pop culture, you're either alien or Amish. And she's just not fazed by it whatsoever.
Yeah.
I've said more or less the similar kind of things as you when they actually show the flashback. I think it looks beautiful, the actual imagery of their planet and everything. But it's also, I don't get how you could say you weren't interested when it does things like, it starts it and it gets all the deep epic music, and then Charlie's like, and on my planet, and then it immediately interrupts by Quill going, our planet, and then the music stops, and then it's like that quick interruption. I think was a really funny way to kind of make sure, are you listening, this is important kind of thing. And I just said, yeah, it's great sci-fi, but the flash of their true appearances shows that the flashbacks are not meant to be taken literally, because they didn't look like, people in school uniforms. It's a metaphor rather than a literal thing.
Yeah.
And the only other thing is, again, this is going to make me sound super nerdy, but the whole thing with Quill being kind of in servitude and not being able to harm people reminded me of the character of Spike from Buffy the Vampire Slayer. He was like a vampire, and then it's basically the same plot line. In season 4, there's like a government agency that are tracking vampires and monsters, and they put a chip inside of his head, which means that he can't harm anybody, otherwise he goes through like intense pain and possible death. So he's a vampire with all the same bloodlust, but he can't hurt anyone. And I was like, yeah, this guy's definitely seen Buffy, because that's just more or less what he's done to Quill.
Yeah, I think I've heard that story plot that you're in exile, but you can't do anything. I think we've seen that in Doctor Who. In fact, I can't remember the story, but yeah, it's a nice little reference there. So are you back up to where I was now?
I'm just about to hit the appearance of the Doctor, but I will say that there's a really great line which I don't think is. There's a great line that I don't think is given enough focus,
Which is
because it's establishing kind of the nature of the shadow kind and what they can and can't do and why they're a threat. And it says that you can't kill them without killing yourself. And the reason they were able to take people out was because people weren't really aware what was happening, because, and I quote, "Why would you fear your own shadow?" Which I said is a very Moffat type line, which they could have made more of, but really didn't. And it kind of gives you, it makes the monsters way more scary when you're like, you wouldn't think twice because it's just your shadow, and then your shadow like attacks and kills you. So, but I also said that I think the reason that the flashback shows you specifically Charlie's mother getting killed is that I think it's trying to establish that Quill, despite everything, is now his like surrogate mother figure.
Yeah, I do like that portrayal, and also the line, "I wish they weren't as empty as you are." When right at the end about talking about the box, and I thought, it's like that adoptive son kind of thing, but then at the end it's like, we're not the same family. My morals are different to yours. So I thought that was nice to differentiate the two characters, because otherwise they would have been a bit too familiar being in the same planet. And also in the flashback scenes, it's kind of I saved her, and then I saved him, and then I saved her. And I thought, okay, that's a nice story, but how did they become so standoffish? And that line at the end where I spoke about the inner demons, and the line, "How do you know I'm not?" like raging inside. And I thought that was such a strong way to end the story, but we're not there yet.
Agreed. Yeah, in terms of like quickly as well, dialogue in that flashback scene, I also really like the line again, which sets up Charlie, where he says that he's a prince without a people, which I think is a great sort of setting him up as like royalty, but completely lost and without any connection to anyone. Again, that's a story I'd love to have seen, whether it was Doctor Who or not, really.
And I do kind of like how that line was delivered, because it kind of sounds like an ego if he was human, but it's not an ego, because it's always been established that he's not human, and that the same kind of ego kind of thing can't be put onto his character, because he doesn't know about that kind of stuff. He doesn't know what like is correct and what is wrong. So yeah, I do like that line, and it kind of just establishes again that he's not human. So yeah,
sorry,
I do love that.
I'm going to try not to talk as much, because we've got like 20 minutes until we hit 2 hours. So I'm just going to.
Ben, do you have any thoughts before we jump into the battle scene where Capaldi appears?
No, but I have some thoughts for the next scene when we get there. So.
Do you want to start?
Can I just?
No, I'll go later.
Okay, Mike.
I just want to make a note that during the flashback scenes to the planet and the TARDIS rescuing Quill and Charlie, they use the song "I Am the Doctor," the Murray Gold song, which is usually associated with the 9th Doctor. And given that you don't see the Doctor, it does make you wonder if it was the 12th or the 9th that actually saved them. But anyway.
And we're not quite there yet, but also when the 12th Doctor is introduced, it kind of has that theme, but it's like adapted. I think it's the Rocker Doctor theme tune. But
I think it's the 12th Doctor's theme,
but I did mention that in a bit, which I'll get to. I put Every battle scene between Ram and the Shadow King was awesome and intense, and it killing his girlfriend so soon after emerging was brutal. And El Saeed was another standout, who was the actor who played Ram, El Saeed. His portrayal of hurt was amazing, especially when he was in physical pain, which makes him sound like a psychopath, but it's true. His performance, when he was like shaking and then he was in pain when his leg was chopped off, I think he portrayed that so well. Great actor, clearly.
Okay.
I also put, if I was just moving on, I also put, in a previous episode, I said I had already got used to the characters and there was little need for Capaldi to make an appearance, but I completely disagree with that now. I put that Capaldi was simply fantastic, and his entrance, the Rocker Doctor theme playing in the background, and him emerging from the lights, the prom lights, also it was a magical moment. And like in what do you call it, the Voyage of the Damned, where the 10th Doctor kind of emerges with the fire on him, and it makes him seem like epic. This is the complete contrast, and as opposed to the 10th Doctor being seen as like a messiah epic hero who's just went through a loss, we have the 12th Doctor with the lights and the guitar and all the awesome music to represent he is the hope that these people have when all hope is lost. And I thought that just portrays his character so well, his Doctor.
Yeah.
I also put the joke about the cabinets and IKEA was brilliant.
Oh, that was so good, that day.
Yeah. But then
there's a funny shop on Earth called IKEA.
That was my final. That was my final note before it was the wrap up. So I'll let you guys talk about these scenes because I just
I'll let you go, Ben, and then I'll jump in and see what if anything.
Right. Well, all I've got to say is Capaldi is fantastic. Capaldi is the best. Capaldi is just God. Jesus, he's his own dad. He's God and Jesus, he's his own dad. He gives such a good performance. All Capaldi.
I'll just speak of that quote now. He is his own dad.
He is his own dad.
Child's dad is Capaldi.
Yeah, Capaldi was so superb.
Well, do you want me to go back and go through my things? It'll not take very long.
Yeah, go for it.
So I've said the start of that montage before they go to prom is like it shows outer space, which fades into night, which gives you the neat, fast visual language of sci-fi. April's music is very melancholy, and again, it uses that chance to describe her by showing that she's caring for her mum, and she's literally described as kind and gorgeous, which are two things that are important to who she is, even if she doesn't see it. I think I can't remember which character says it. I think it might be April or Tanya, where they say, "Oh, I've got, I know what you're facing, school and prom," and they say, "You have no idea what I'm facing," which is, again, it's a very Buffy-esque way of using sci-fi horror as a metaphor for the horrors of like youth and school and such. Shows April's loneliness back at the prom. It's clever that they then actually literally have the name of the episode in dialogue, which I had to mention. Bit that I skipped from earlier. The other joke that I have to mention that I love, it doesn't really necessarily have to be in the episode, but I love it, is when Quill is in the prom with Tanya and somebody bursts in and she's like, "Get out, we are decorating." I think
the headmaster.
Yeah.
It really made me like... sorry, I crack up every
Mike
time.
Is dying.
The camera starts really shaking as April's having like kind of a fit because she's possessed.
It kind of like zooms in and zooms out really quick, like a heartbeat. I've seen that effect done before.
The action scene the same, quick cuts, it's kinetic, it's fast, the music's fast, the effects and acting are great. Again, it speaks to April's character that she's trying to be forceful to save lives, and that's when she comes into her own power. That's when she's finally able to stand up for herself, and it's a good bit of social commentary when she shouts out, "You'd listen if I was some idiot on Instagram saying you were fat," or something. The villains, I think, are brilliantly menacing. They actually seem threatening and seem scary to me. Whoever the effects company are that did the Shadowkind army all lined up, it's a brilliant effect as well. Agreed. And I do have to shout out as well the effect on Caracanus when the camera gets close. You get the rippling effect as if you're in like extreme heat, which the visual effects department didn't have to add that, but the fact that they did, and it must have been a real pain in the ass. Like, it must have been quite painstaking to do. I think adds to the reality, which is really cool. Yeah, then it's notable that the music basically starts to crescendo as if it's building to something, and then I've just got in big capital letters 12th effing Doctor. So, yeah, straight in with.
I've also just got to point out something.
Go for it.
Yeah.
I've only just realised this is the first proper time we actually see the 12th Doctor's own sonic screwdriver in action.
It's his first one. It's not the newest one, I think.
No, it's the blue one.
Correct me if I'm wrong, but I thought it was
Yeah,
the 11th
I've
Doctor's.
got it on in the background on like a repeat.
Oh, I thought it was the 11th Doctor's as well.
So
Okay,
do
my
I,
bad.
because when
Yeah, it's actually the blue one. So this is actually the first time we properly see it in action.
Maybe it was a continuity error, because when the Doctor actually came in and sonicked the Shadowkins, like when he pops up from with the guitar, and then he pointed the screwdriver at him, I could have sworn it was the green light and also the claws. So
I'm reversing this.
just have a look when he emerges and then he does it, because it may have been a continuity error if there was in fact this blue sonic screwdriver.
I know when he points it at the ceiling and like turns a light on, it's his blue one.
Right, it may have been continuity.
It mentions on TARDIS Wiki that he uses his first one, which is the same one as the 11th Doctor. But again, there might be one scene where he's using the wrong one, I suppose.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Oh well.
So yeah, I've just said Capaldi is great acting. His speech is brilliant. I think he fits into this world, which would have been weird if it had jarred in any way. The fact that it specifically references the caretaker to kind of link the two is clever as well. The dialogue about the Doctor having a soft spot for the last ones of their species is a great callback to him. And since, again, I think it's the writer gets the character of the Doctor in just even one quick line, which is why avenge genocide with genocide. I was like, that's brilliant. That's so Doctorish. Yeah, and it's not even Doctor Who. You know?
Exactly, yeah. And since we're on that bit, also the moment where he sees Danny Pink and Clara Oswald on the board with the names.
I have words about that.
I've got an ask. This is 2016.
Yeah.
Did this come before Face of Raven or after?
It's a continuity error.
Because
Series 9 was in 2015.
If it's after, he shouldn't have been able to remember, or maybe it was just his subconscious thinking, I should know you, but I don't. And maybe it was his subconscious, the reason why they included that, but he shouldn't have known if it was after.
Yeah, that moment is described on the wiki as him kind of having a flash of, oh, there's something, but he doesn't quite remember.
Subconscious,
but the bigger issue that I have, and that everyone who kind of noticed, is that the series is established as taking place. Yes, it aired after Clara's departure, but it's established as taking place in 2016, and
I've gone over it, and it is his blue one the full way through.
Well, there you go.
Okay, I'm blind.
So yeah, it's a continuity error, because at that point, where it's supposed to be set in 2016, Clara wouldn't actually be gone. So it wouldn't make sense for her to be on the wall of like people who have been lost, if she should still technically be there.
Also, does anyone know if like Susan or Ian or Barbara or anyone's on the wall?
They're all on there, yeah.
They are all on there. I've never actually tried to look for that.
The Foreman S is listed on sort of past pupils. The Board of Governors lists Wright B and Chesterton I, and the prom hall is called the Barbara Wright Building.
Nice.
So they're all
Oh, that's nice.
I was just going to
I still think they missed out an opportunity to bring Ian back whilst Clara worked at Coal Hill.
Yeah, good point, yeah. The 12th Doctor mentions Clara at the end of the Doctor Falls, as he lists all the companions. Or like in the flashback scenes of his brain, of all the companions saying, Doctor! Clara was one of them. So I thought the Doctor just must have realised that it was Clara at some point, because, or maybe it was just two mistakes.
I think you're rewatching similar things, so you might rewatch Twice Upon a Time soon. But yeah, in that it specifically says that the Clara who appears to him via those weird glass people is the one that gives him back those memories. because she literally
No,
sort of says...
but that came after the Dr. Falls.
That's what I mean. Yeah, that's what I'm saying. He didn't remember until that point.
No, no. He remembered.
Bloody Stephen Moffat and his continuity errors.
He remembered at the end of the Dr. Falls. I was sending you a screenshot.
Yeah, no, I'm not denying it, but I'm saying that's an error because he's not supposed to until the actual Clara appearance in Twice Upon a Time.
But that's the point. That's what I'm trying to say. He must have, if that wasn't a mistake, he must have remembered at some point, because otherwise it would have been two mistakes, one in class, one in the Dr. Force.
Well, class is understandable because, like I said, it was filmed and it aired after that, but because they set it in a specific time, they kind of screwed themselves over. Because they wanted it set in like a specific date in 2016, unfortunately. So that was just whoever's responsible for sort of deciding when it takes place that made that error.
Okay. Didn't do a good job there. Right, if we're ending with that, I put scenes where Quill is pleading to escape in the box went on for a little too long, in my opinion. And the message of those scenes that the students had been awesome and they were great, I think that should have been reached a bit quicker, because I think it was just a bit, oh, take me with you, but you can't expect these juveniles, these subhumans, or whatever she described them as. I thought, one too many, just get on with it. The students and you had been awesome, you had completed it, and I thought, yeah, bit too long, but yeah, nice scene. And I also like the references where they kind of speak to each other, and it ends with all of the characters are really attractive, and then the 12th Doctor just looks at him like, what are these humans talking about? And he just looks back at Quill and he's like, you just gotta look after him. And I thought that was a nice end to the episode.
Yeah, okay.
Or the 12th Doctor's arc in it anyway.
We've established a lot in this podcast. Stephen Moffat loves his continuity errors. Buffy and class have a lot of similarities, and I almost killed both of you.
Yes.
Yeah, so did you have any last notes?
Would have stopped.
Do you have any last notes, Ben, until we reach the end of the episode? Because I've got 12 more and then I'm finished.
12? I've only got one.
No.
Oh, fair enough. I've only got one left, so God knows what Mike has spoke about in this. Jesus. Mike, do you just want to vow for them? Because, yeah.
I mean, they're quick if you want me to go through them.
My final note is the very final scene, so yeah, just get up to that point.
Yeah.
Go for it.
Okay, well, I'll rattle through them because then we'll be done. It's a nice shorthand for April's character that she would absolutely sacrifice herself. But again, it's true to the Doctor that he won't let anyone else die, and that he comes through with the assist and then basically defeats the menace of the week. It's another clever subversion that Ram kind of jumps in from nowhere to do the actual saving, despite the fact he's lost a leg by that point.
Yeah.
There's a wrap-up montage over melancholy music which sets your tone again.
Yeah.
The Doctor appears to literally finalise the establishment of what the series is. He gives Ram his new leg, explains that you can't fully close the rip, that it's a beacon across space and time, and then the other characters basically link that to ideas in pop culture, which is to clue the audience into what we're doing here. The line that gave me chills by the 12th Doctor is, time has looked at your faces and time never forgets.
I bloody love that line.
Yeah.
I love that line too, it's so good. The Doctor praises the main characters and basically allots them roles. And it's nice that he doesn't ignore the crime that Quill did, so he explains that her being there as their guardian is punishing her for her negligence earlier, from the very start of the episode when she let the guy die and made him like fire the weapon. The Doctor saying that what they're about to go through is no harder than exams is just lampshading the school as horror metaphor again.
Except media studies.
Except, yeah.
And I thought, when I watched that in last year, I was like, okay, yeah, that's pretty funny. But as a media student now, actually having been through it, I was like, it's bloody not easy. Jesus, it's definitely not.
Well,
yeah,
I've got a media studies A level and a film studies degree, so I just skipped over that line and was like, yeah, let's pretend the Doctor didn't just say that.
Yeah, media studies is hard for anyone listening along. It's very hard.
Yes, agreed. It also, it's important that the scene literally ends with the line, are we all mates? Which I think is the question that the series is going to set up here.
Yeah.
It shows the characters are slow, thoughtful and disconnected at the end. There's a shot that I specifically noted at the end where April looks at herself in a mirror, which I think is showing not only the connection between her and Karakinis, but also the duality of her outward optimism and her inner turmoil. She literally wipes the smile off her face when she's wiping her makeup off, which I picked up on, that she's not as happy as she seems to be. And the reveal of the cabinet supposedly being empty and then giving you that gorgeous pan out to end the episode.
I was just going to mention that, yeah.
That's it though, that's what I said.
Okay, brilliant. I said I didn't realise the ending where they zoom out of the box which leads into the planet was in this episode. I think it may have been in other episodes too, but I thought it was in the Detained episode. But obviously not. I weirdly love that moment. That is so beautiful. Special effects hit out of the park in this episode, for the most part. And that concludes our lists. Ben, is there anything else you want to say before we summarise?
Nope.
Okay, awesome. So we'll start with the guest first. Do you have like a summary and also a score for this?
I don't really have a summary, but if I had to give a score of it, it'd probably be either an 8 or 9 out of 10.
For the sake of completion and the need for a complete score, what would you say, an 8 or a 9, or would you say 8.5?
Yeah, 8.5.
8.5. Okay. Mike, do you want to go second?
Are you ready to hear this? Because this is where I get into a real essay.
Go for it.
Okay, I'm just going to take a deep breath and go in. Sorry, it's going to sound like I'm reading because I am, but I wrote it, I promise. I've said 50 of the most solid minutes of sci-fi television ever made. Patrick Ness's plots are works of genius threaded through this introduction, brilliantly enough to really hook us into the intrigue. There's some stellar character creations, plot concepts, dialogue, creature design, effects, musical accompaniment. All this and The Doctor feels as relevant and fresh now as when it first aired, though it is relatively recent-ish. The acting is so good. Catherine Kelly plays Quill in such a way that it could easily tip over into camp, but it never does, creating a truly noteworthy and interesting character. Peter Capaldi is as he always was, bringing his best and shining as the Doctor perfectly. Ram and Charlie get their moments to shine, showing their rage, and Sophie Hopkins quietly and gently positions herself as the centre, the heart, I guess, LOL, of the show. The pace is brilliantly frenetic, the action is exciting, it's tense when needed and brilliantly executed, and the world building is incredibly captivating, starting the ball rolling on probably the greatest one-season sci-fi show since Firefly, and as you may well have guessed, I said 10 out of 10.
That is your first 10 out of 10, wow.
Yeah.
I am very surprised by that, but that's fair enough. I always knew you liked this episode. Right. Well, you like the series, didn't you? Right.
Yeah.
This is my...
Well, Class is amazing as a whole.
Oh yeah, I really like Class. My summary was, my points were incredibly positive for the most part, because I like to take the positives from episodes rather than the negatives, but I must mention that the acting and the direction at times felt off at times, and it didn't reach its full potential in my opinion. The special effects were slightly better than what we saw in The Fires on Pompeii, almost a decade previous, but I would still never wrap my head around the statue fire-like creatures that walk around living rooms and bedrooms, which I mentioned earlier. It just feels really unrealistic, ironically, because it's a sci-fi, it's meant to be unrealistic. Furthermore, the story wasn't great, though. It touched upon so many issues and gave representation not only to sexuality, which is great in itself, but also other issues like loneliness and isolation among students and everyone in general, really, because everyone suffers from that kind of stuff. I think the representation was great. Although, as I've been saying throughout, there were several awesome, bold, creative decisions that were made, and for the most part, I do believe they paid off and provided a solid start to a series that I will have to rewatch in my free time. I will give this episode a 7 out of 10.
7? That's so low.
Don't start on this, because in episode 7 I was talking to DWG and I was saying how you ripped into me for giving The Timeless Children and Ascension a 5 out of 10, but he agreed with me, and I mentioned that in every single poll that I put out, Ascension comes rock bottom, and you said I was being really harsh giving it a 5 out of 10. So don't say that. If I put out a poll for the class and it comes out really low, I will say I told you so. But I'm not saying it's bad.
I think
a 7 out of 10. That's good. That's a 3.5 out of 5.
See, 7 out of
That's not harsh. It's a good
7 out of
episode.
10. I don't like. I give Torchwood last week 7 and. I give Torchwood last week 7.5, and I was way less enthusiastic about that than you just were about Class.
Well, I mean, it's not a very
But
good
anyway,
episode
it's
in my
your- it's
opinion.
your
It was
opinion.
good. Guys, please back me up again. Oh, Jesus Christ. Every time I give
It's
a
fine.
score lower than you rip into me saying,
I don't mind a score lower. You'll notice I didn't rip into Ben. I think even though I disagree, I think the score of like 8.5.
well, the average
is
was
understandable, but I think
the average was 8.5.
right.
And
okay.
you said that's
Well,
understandable.
again, I would have put it higher, but I can understand. Yeah, I could understand that on a. But yeah, if you'd given it 8 or 8.5 as well as Ben, and me giving it 10, it would be higher average, wouldn't it?
It would be about 9.5, which I think would be ridiculously high. But no, it's 8.5 out of 10.
I think that's exactly where it should be.
What, 9.5?
But yep.
8.5 is absolutely fair. I will put out a tweet in a bit and I will see what they have to say. But there you go.
It's just my opinion, but like I said, I went 10 out of 10, and it's the first one I've given. Even things that I adore, like Human Nature, Family of Blood, I didn't give that to. Well, I did for the second episode, but not the first.
Jesus, that's a good one.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I think I actually brought the rating down for that one as well. I think I gave that overall like an 8 or a 9 out of 10, and it just dropped.
I only
Jesus
gave it
Christ.
overall
Human
a
Nature
9,
and Family Blood, I'd give a 10.
Liam
Yeah.
gave it a 10, so yeah, you can thank him.
That's
for
my
that.
favourite New Way story.
Fair enough.
Fair enough. I can totally respect that, absolutely.
Yeah, so if you would just bear with me, I can get the leaderboard up and I can see where this places within 8.5. So spoilers for you, Ben, since these episodes haven't came out yet. But here's the leaderboard so far. Human Nature's Family of Blood, 9 out of 10. That's first place. Then it's Death the Doctor, 8.75 out of 10. Then it's
No, I'm just going to stop you there. There's no way Death of the Doctor is better than this.
yes, it is. Yes,
No,
it is.
hard.
No, there really isn't. There's no way.
Thank you.
I will put a poll in a minute, and I will see. I'm doing it now. I'm doing it in a minute when I've said the rest of these. I put the.
I like Death of the Doctor, but it's a kid show with terribly done monsters. It's
Right,
not an
okay.
8.75.
Okay.
Plus, this has Capaldi, and Capaldi's God and Jesus. He's his own dad.
He's his own dad, yes. And so this was
You can't beat a guy who's his own dad.
out of 10. That gives it third place. Then the Curse of Fatal Death, fourth place with 8 out of 10. The Five Doctors, 7.5 out of 10. The God Complex, 7.3 out of 10. Ascension of the Cybermen, The Timeless Children, 6.6 out of 10. Unearthly Child, 5.6 out of 10. Dimensions in Time, 2.6 out of 10. And if you guys would like to discuss that or just talk about something while I put out this poll up.
I think that's all exactly where I would put them, with the exception that I would probably put this above Death of the Doctor.
This would definitely be above Death of the Doctor.
But the difference is what, 0.25? So it's kind of fine, I guess, in that case.
So, class, for tonight, we
might die.
yes.
When you started that sentence, it sounded like you was actually talking to a class, because you said, so class, for...
So, class, what did we think of the episode?
Oh dear, well, I've put that up for 6 days, so I'll just tell you the results in a couple minutes. But that concludes the episode review. 8.5
But at least his
10 for class
podcast
episode.
let me establish a new catchphrase. Peter Capaldi, the man who's his own dad.
father. Yes.
I'd rather we establish the catchphrase, Matt Smith is so bad you could put a kid in that and he'd be fine.
I still hate you for that.
No, it's not Matt Smith, it's just like that doctor. It's not actually like Matt Smith that's bad.
Yeah, just super quick, Ben, just out of curiosity, what do you think of the episode The Pandorica Opens in the Big Bang?
I think Pandora Open, it starts actually, like, it can be quite strong in places, but then the Big Bang, I don't know why, I just really don't like it.
Thank you. Yes! Ben, I like you. You're on my side on everything so far. Will giving the deepest sigh of his life.
Well, I can give you the current statistics, and I
Okay.
don't think you'll be very happy with this. So far, we have 5 votes, 4 of which have been saying Death of the Doctor, 1 of which said For Tonight We Might Die. So you guys can suck on that.
Will.
Yes.
Where have you been getting this money from to bribe them?
Wait, I've just refreshed and it's now 8 votes. And oh, what? It's 8 votes.
No.
7 people have said Death of the Doctor, we're only 1%.
Will, if you give me some of this money, I'll also vote it for you.
People are idiots. What can I say? I'm happy.
Idiots.
I'm happy to be on the right side of history.
9 people have voted.
I mean, I've known Twitter to be a bit idiotic at times.
9 people have now voted, and 8 people have said Death of the Doctor. 8 out of 9 people. So you can
I voted for Tonight We Might Die.
So you only one. So everyone said
Nope,
Death of the Doctor.
I did too.
Well, you guys can ponder on that as you will. Ben, thanks for coming on and giving me and Mike some heart attacks by saying that Matt Smith could be portrayed by a kid. And
Hey,
also
I'm fine with
Series
it.
2 was worse than Series 11. Thank you for that.
You watch now, I'm going to make an edit of the 11th Doctor as a child.
Oh, Jesus. Oh, Ben,
Or just Capaldi being his own dad.
Well, Seeing the Dancing Cyberman has replied. He said, I love Class, but I have to go with Death of the Doctor. Sorry, Class, but you just can't compete with the guest appearances from the 11th Doctor and Joe Grant. Thank you very much, and that's the whole episode done. Thank you guys for listening, and as we've just established, Death of the Doctor is better than For Tonight We Might Die.
Even though he's bribing people.
Yes. All I put was, which story do you prefer? Is literally the most Ben Tyler, facts. Yes, okay, guys, okay. Well, Ben, thank you for coming on for this episode. It was great to have you on. I hope you had a bit of fun, bit of a laugh.
Bit of a laugh. Just about, yeah.
Just about, yeah. I think you've hurt me and Mike physically today, but yeah.
I'm fine. Hey man, he's on board with a lot of the things I'm saying, so I'm fine with it.
Yeah, I think you've won Mike over by the ends after that slandering on the hit or miss section. So there we go. Thank you guys for listening. I'll see you guys in the next episode, as will Mike. Who will we be with? We are with the Gallifreyan, Nathan, the artist, and also Doctor Who fan. I'm looking forward to that episode. Or it may be Xander.
No.
Yeah.
It's Xander, that's right.
We've got Xander Grogan for the next episode, then the Gallifreyan for the final episode of the series.
And then if you were listening to our last episode last week,
yeah.
you might know about the special episode that's coming at some point.
Adam, Martin, K9 and company. It should be awesome. Well, guys, thank you for listening to this clusterfuck of an episode. I'll see you guys next week. Peace out.
Kinder.
Bye-bye.
Bye.
I hate you.